Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of All the Mods 10. And in this one, we're gonna rediscover the process of distillation. We ended the last episode with me making polyethylene in this here chemical reactor, and the first thing I'd like to do with that polyethylene is to put it in this assembler for the digital circuit board recipe, right here. And with some crafting recipes in place, I should now be able to request the oh so important distillation towers. Hopefully they're crafting up and all that jazz, because I would need them. Where are they? Here they are. What are you up to right now? Crafting. Okay, cool. I would, however, also like to point out that I'm another step closer to automating the processing unit board. Except for PVC, all I really need is the annealed copper wire and cadmium batteries, both of which are recipes that I have stuff for. Cadmium dust is coming from neodymium processing, and annealed copper wire is just this craft right here. Now, before I get to my so complicated distillation setup, in the previous episode I mentioned that distilling shale oil is sort of the way to go because of all of its extra crude oil output. And to get shale oil, I would have to make stainless steel drills. With what I set up yesterday, digital circuits aren't exactly a problem anymore, and neither is the stainless steel stuff. So I think I should be able to go down the oil drilling rig route and then set up these machines. Now, I've spent a little bit of time scratching my brain cells together, trying to look for a place where I can put these machines that would still look good. Because, of course, looking good is kind of important, at least to me. I mean, I try to maintain a somewhat decent looking base. And not that I'm against lawn basin or anything, I've made plenty of lawn base in my time, just not this one. Not for you guys. And I'm thinking this is the only place that's left that can house many machines like such, so I think this is gonna have to be it. I can put my distilling multi-block wall shared distillery doohickey thingamabob in this corner here. One of them can be just the drilling rig in here, or maybe here. I don't know, we'll figure it out. First things first, to get started I would need a oil drilling rig, bringing freedom to my country. Thank you. And I happen to know the fact that this is a fairly large multi-block, so if that goes there, what's this look like? It goes 4 blocks down, and a few, I think 6 blocks up or so. Yeah. So it would seem a little bit out of place if I stick it literally anywhere in here. But I would have nothing but sheer respect for the machine itself, and just like any other machine that I've put in here, I think I'll just find a place to put it. I think that corner is going to be it. I mean, does this look any good? Yeah, you know what? It might look good if I spin it around the other way. I don't know. I think I'll just stick with this. This is good enough. Good enough for me, actually. That's all that really matters, doesn't it? Oh, and as a heads up, you can always press U on any multi-block machine to find out exactly what you need. So for example, I need 38 steel steel machine casing, 18 chains, and 6 steel pipe casings. What are the chances I'm going to remember all of that? Absolutely none. I'm absolutely going to look back on this video to find out which ones I need. Stuff's done crafting, and I wonder if I just right-click this, if it'll auto-build. You know, sometimes I wish it could. No problem. I'll just put this in my offhand and get to building, I guess. You know, I didn't expect this multi-block to be so dark looking. Oh, let me see if I can some lights can fix that. Bottom dynamic lights. Can I just line this top part with them, and maybe it casts just enough light around it to light it up? That's improved some things. Well, maybe down here and down here as operational lights or something. I don't know. This machine looks a little too goofy with that thing on the top. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but you know, maybe it's one of those. No, it can't be an oil drill, can it? I mean, technically it is an oil drill. Those old pump jacks that have this spinning thing on the bottom and the boom that goes up and down and pumps oil out of the ground. You know what I'm talking about. I'll put a picture up if you can't. What is this supposed to be? If you got ideas, drop them in the comments. What type of machine do you think this is? And if you got images, drop them in the Discord. But I can't be worried too much about what type of machine it is. I've got inputs and outputs to figure out. Obviously, this thing takes some energy. It takes a drill, and it gives out a fluid, so it would need some hatches. Oh. Well, I had the hatches ready, and I was going to be like, oh, hey, look, it's done. It's fun. Okay, I've been hoodwinked and bamboozled once again. I think I'll keep the inputs and outputs on this side, and then put the energy in the back there. Yeah, it does seem like the bronze ones work, and I'm hoping an LV machine, yeah, it accepts LV hatches too. Excellent. And once again, I'm using interfaces to manage all of this. All of them have been configured to pull and push from the bottom. This one's going to be pulling drills. I had drills in here. Oh, it magically appeared right here. Excellent. This one's going to request that, and that's going to be an output, and this one's going to get an induction card. And all of this, I think it'll want to bundle up together and pull down through the ground, maybe? I think pulling it through the ground makes the most sense. That's a middle block right here. It's going to do one of these. And, whoa. Huh. That a fully configured P2P just for me? Sure is. Well, I guess I can just pull some cables off of this guy and hook him up to the left and the right, where the distillation tower is going to go over there. The drilling is right over here. Let's just do a little bit of this. Yeah. And this thing is already kicked up to life, no questions asked. It's already done 3 cycles, got a stainless steel drill, and it's producing shale oil that I imagine is sort of just living in this here for now. Yeah, that's neat. Cool. And it hasn't even used stainless steel drill bit quite yet. Perfect. Okay, shale oil now acquired. It's time to distill it into 3 outputs. So, for the 3 outputs still, I think I would end up building this guy right here. And I like to think that these number of pipe casings is the number of outputs. So I would need 32 stainless steel clean machine casing, 1 tar control block, and then 3 casings, like I said. And you know, even though I've requested these crafts, I bet these crafts can be a little bit encouraged with the time wand. Yeah, the rods, speed them up please. And thank you. That's more like it. What else? There'll be a compressor pressing plates of steel. Is it here? Here? Here it is. Cool. You, do some more. Do more faster. More better. Please. Thank you. You got it. Here it is. 3 of those. And then hopefully a bunch of these start coming in soon. What are they waiting on? Let's check it out. Let's speed everything up. Because I can. What you need? You're making more of these. That's all it's waiting on. Alright. Can't do much about that. That's just one machine. Poor little sad guy. You know, that's reminded me of the existence of these. And these guys are basically a multi-block machine that can run multiple of single blocks at a time. So for example, if they support compressors, I can put in like 16 compressors and have a bunch of recipes run at the same time inside one of those multi-blocks. And I wonder if I can make those. I mean, the recipe sure doesn't stop me, and it does seem like they're fairly cheap to build. You know what, I think it's worth my time to first see if the processing array even allows for compressors and stuff. So let's just make 1 for now. Just request everything. The assembler's already done. That'll be done in a second to go up here and here. Alright, processing array is done. I've requested an additional 2 of these because I ended up using these. Let's see. Now, shape invalid, but what all machines did they use? Electric crafting machines to run in parallel. Does that mean you can run any electric machine? And after some research, it does seem like it supports literally any multi-block or any single block machine that does a recipe. So I might be saying goodbye to these sometime soon. Do I have space behind them to expand? I mean, not for this one, but maybe I can do something else with this wall and set up my multi-blocks going this way. Or actually, I'd love to have them on this wall. Anyways, that's for future me. Current me needs to set up these distillation towers. You know, materials in hand, I think, given that I'm going to be wall sharing these, or wall sharing 4 of these at a time, I think 2 of these can go here, and then another 2 will go here and here. Oh, that one's placed a little bit off there. Right, and then they can share the wall in the middle. I'm going to be building this one right here, and this one's going to be the shortest one. Or should I make this one the shortest one so that if you're looking down from this high vantage point here, you can see the short one, the next tallest, the next tallest, and the next tallest? A little bit of pondering to do. I think it makes sense for me to do this one. And to do that, I would come in here and tell it to be 3 tall, and then build this out to be 3 tall. I would give you guys a montage for this, but it's a little bit hard to look at, in my opinion. Oh, and again, I'm missing an energy hatch and then 3 fluid output hatches. Oh, and also I'd need a fluid input hatch, and I think that'll go there, maybe? And yeah, the hatches for inputs and outputs go down there, and just gonna set this guy to auto extract. And I need fluid outputs now. So I'm thinking I can just use more bronze hatches because they're cheap and I'm cheap like that. Yep. You heard it here first, folks. And yeah, sure enough, they go upwards like that. Hey, wait a minute. I thought I saw horizontal lines. Oh, it's just these. Oh, so they can go on any side. That's a neat thing to know, but I don't need that functionality quite yet. So unimportant. I just need to set all of these faces to be outputs. And now I'm good. And I think this side's going to have to get the dense cable because of all of the outputs. But I am once again using interfaces to handle the inputs here because it's just convenient that way. I can not only power it, but also send it fluid just through here, especially because these machines auto pull unlike mechanism. So this one's going to get the induction card and this one's going to get shale oil. It should get right up in here. And once it says power, this should start distilling. And this process has produced some helium, some sulfuric crude oil, and some sulfuric naphtha, all of which I can just pull right on down, put back into the system, if they have a home. It doesn't seem like any of them have a home, anything except helium. Cool. Oh wait, never mind, this thing also went through, and the only thing that's left is sulfuric crude oil. Sulfuric crude oil would then turn into regular crude oil after a little bit of washing and produce some sulfuric acid. And then the distillation of crude oil will produce even more stuff. I was initially tempted to put this process all the way back there, except that would once again be breaking tradition. I would like to keep the floor as clean as possible and only use multi-block machines on the floor. Unless needed, like that. That already had a spot and I didn't feel like moving the connection, and technically that's a multi-block crafter right there. There's 3 of them. In fact, there's 9 of them if you count all 3 banks of 3. But putting a single block machine in the multi-block area kind of didn't feel right. So I'm going to put this chemical reactor right here and give it this recipe. This one. You know, I was trying to put in the induction card over here, and I was just reminded of the fact that I learned fairly recently, like maybe a few hours ago, that if you press A on this thing, you get a wrap generic stack. And then you can use that wrap generic stack to put FE into like an export bus, kind of like source. So I wonder if I can do the same with source then, right? Because if I can do that with FE, can I do that with source? No, it doesn't seem like I can. Anyways, it was worth a shot. But yeah, now remember, you can do that with FE too. I didn't know that. Oh, and I forgot, this thing can't auto pull like some other machines, so that's gonna have to move, and I think I'm gonna set up a mirrored image down here, where a cable's going to come down the side, and export bus, and blah blah blah. You know the drill. Export bus go here, and you're going to export sulfuric crude oil. No need to round robin or nothing. Oh, I would also need this to export hydrogen, and then it will have to round robin. So this is going to have to be hydrogen from modern industrialization, like that one. And yep, it's putting in the hydrogen, but not putting in the sulfuric crude oil. How interesting. Either way, all of that goes there. That'll be the output. Induction card go here. This now has power, and I wonder what's missing. Can I not tell it to just wait a minute? Shale all tolls. No, that's not what it needs. I need this thing. So is it doing it now? Hydrogen's coming in, nice and fast. What about sulfuric crude oil? Oh, I bet it doesn't have a storage spot. That's probably it. Yep, it's completely backed up right here. Sulfuric crude oil. Excellent. Excellent, Ksaw. Really good job. Okay, I'm now sharing this and hoping for some equal distribution magic to happen. This should kick up soon. Yeah, I'm getting sulfuric crude oil. It does 12,000 millibuckets at a time, so 12 buckets. And once that's done, it'll produce sulfuric acid and crude oil, both of which have a storage spot, so I'm not too worried about that. Next up, we'll be distilling crude oil. I did not foresee this. That's another 3 stack, and I think I can just copy this then. this is a block too far away for that. Hold on. What's happened here? Oh, I know exactly what's happened here. I didn't set the height to be 3 tall. Perfect. Okay, I basically just done the mirror of that setup here, and I'm gonna copy everything pretty much the exact same way. Nothing too interesting happening quite yet, but you'll find out when cool stuff starts to happen. But hey, at least now we're distilling crude oil, and since I already set up crude oil once before, all of its, well, outputs already have storage space. Each of those outputs will get a brand new chemical reactor, and that is simply because each of these gets desulfurized or technically reduced. The other way around, it gets reduced or technically desulfurized in a hydrogen environment to produce sulfuric acid and a purer fuel. So basically all of these are going to get, similar to this guy right here, a hydrogen export as well as its input and then an interface on the other side. I just hope I have the channels to support all of that. And it turns out, no, I did not indeed have enough channels. Since these are all outputs anyways, I think I can just handle all of these 4 things as a subnet, so it's time to separate these out. Put down an extra interface, and then put down a storage bus right here, connect all of these back up, and I think we should be golden. All this needs is some power, so just the tiniest little bit of quartz vibe, and all of these should come right online. Cool. Now, there's no way for these guys to put power into here, especially through this interface, but I wonder if I take an induction card and put an induction card here and then put back the induction card where I stole it from. Does that mean that these would have power now? I wonder, because, this one's exposing its power to this storage bus, and then this subnet should have access to the main power. Let's just find out. I'm going to break it and replace it. That goes there, and yeah, it's getting power. How neat is that? We figured that one out live in front of the live studio audience. I'm joking. It's just me. Anyways, all of this is now done. All of these outputs, hopefully, are going into the system. And it does seem like they are. Now we can tackle all of their counterparts. So instead of sulfuric, light, heavy, and naphtha, I now have to distill... steam crack all of these first. Well, that's a pain in the backside. Does that mean more machines? I think that does mean more machines. And yeah, that does mean more machines. And of course, if I'm gonna have like single purpose machines to put in my base like that, I would put them somewhere right about there. But I think they would look even better right here. I prepared the spot literally a second ago. Beep beep. Meep meep. Boop beep. Meep boop. Actually, never mind. I've just had quite an epiphany. A light bulb moment, one would say. Given that I'm already gonna be automating the polyethylene process, and ethylene is gonna be a distillation product, I would not need to use this recipe anymore, so I can get rid of that. And I'm already cracking I'm already cracking naphtha with steam to produce steam cracked naphtha. And I've already made this process entirely passive up there, so I don't need that machine either. That leaves me with 3 spots right here, perfectly ready to put machines into. And that is exactly what I've gone ahead and done. All these machines are constantly producing, well, stuff and things, and have been producing stuff and things. The reason they've already been through 64 or so processes is the fact that I have spent a lot of time consolidating all of my fuels into this single fluid storage drive right here. So this is all of the variants of heavy fuel, naphtha, and light fuel. The sulfurized kind, the non-sulfurized kind, and the steam crack kind. All 9 of those in that drive. Now we can finally move on to distilling. So the steam cracked heavy fuel gets a 5 tall refinery because it's got 5 outputs. Oh wait, no, 4 outputs for heavy, 5 outputs for light, and then steam cracked naphtha has all 8 outputs, so I should be able to max this out and say a height of 9? That doesn't seem right. None of the recipes have 9 outputs. Is that true? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So is this a 4 tall? No, that's a 3 tall because it's got 3 outputs. I'm gonna stick to 8 then. But that is gonna be a lot of steel. I'll be right back. In fact, by my count, I need approximately 100 clean casings. And that is quite a substantial amount. That is 1,200 plates of steel. But fortunately for me, the way I do have this set up means that I do not have to worry about any of this because I have so much stainless steel. 17,000 of it. I think I had more when the episode started. I think I was in the 20,000s or so, but that's okay. That's why I built such a huge stockpile. That's why the steel process has been passive for so many episodes. You know, all of that crafting wasn't too bad with the time wand. All in all, it took about 10 minutes max, maybe. Either way, all I gotta do is build all of this up, and my math was mostly based on having this 5 segment repeating up a bunch and then this coming up by a tad bit. Oh, not like that. And then this one coming up an extra number, like so. And then the rest would go directly into here. And I have just recognized the fact that I have crafted a few extras, because obviously some of these would be replaced by hatches, but yeah, I don't care about that. I have 17,000 steel. I don't gotta worry about like a block here and a block there. That's the advantage of automation and passive everything. Because of course, y'all remember the keyword from like episode 4 or 5, right? Automation. And yeah, it seems that after breaking down all of these walls for hatches, I have been left with 23. Don't go by that number. It's actually 23. 23 spare hatches. Not to mention the 10 that I had to... 10? Yeah, 10. 4 and 1 and 4 and 1. 10 extra hatches that I put in here. Whatever that number was, if you're following along at home, subtract 33 from that number. Alright, newsflash. I put in all the hatches, and then realized that if 8 outputs are gonna face the same place as these 9 outputs, then I'm gonna have what's colloquially known as a nightmare. You need a little bit more cable throughput to wire all of the things together, so I moved all of those hatches over here, and yeah, all of these are already working. As you can see, all of these have a bunch of stuff in here. And they've currently stopped because they're overflowing. So I think I'm going to pull this dense cable. It's got 14 channels. And 9 plus 8 is 17. So I'm thinking one of these is going to have to be a subnet. And the rest can just go in directly. Actually, what am I on about? 14 plus 17 is 31. And I have a 32 channel cable. So I should be perfectly alright to use this. I'm just going to wire all of these with interfaces on here. And all of these are already set to auto push. So... I'm not too worried. And I'm gonna keep it real. I wasn't vibing with the dense cable in the middle too much, so I removed it. There's no more dense cable there. It's all still in that to be hooked up, so that can go right there, like so. That's gonna be a full 7 channel. That should be 8 channels, technically. Why is this guy missing a channel now? I thought my math was correct here. And in a stroke of momentary genius, I remembered that I can subnet my power instead of having to subnet my inputs. So the inputs look nice and clean. It's just straight lines going all the way down. And my power is on a separate subnet. And that's meant that even though I had a 32 channel limitation, I've gone around it. And now I'm just placing these lights so that this thing looks pretty when you look at it. And it, not like that. I just want to make it look pretty, you know? It should look nice when you look at it. Well, I don't like the fact that it does that. Can I change some modes on it? Is that something it doesn't seem like it is? I don't like that at all, actually. Well, no worries. I think I can live with that. Ain't the worst in the world. Tell me that doesn't look good. Oh, I'm missing the bottom lights, though. Yeah, that looks much better. Cool. With their newly obtained access to distillation, I should be able to move on with the production of PVC as well as styrene butadiene rubber. And all of that is gonna live on this wall behind me here. I knew I'd use it for something. And honestly, I believe with just 4 chemical reactors, I should be able to completely passively produce all of these items, or I guess both of these items. So I think I'll keep the top set of chemical reactors for PVC, so hydrochloric acid and acetylene will go into here and be exported into here. And I would also like this to be set as a recipe for that, so lock this recipe here. Now I'm hoping that eventually there's hydrochloric acid in the system, because I'm fairly confident I am producing some. Yeah, so it's not passively produced, so that would need a crafting card. And now I should get hydrochloric acid in here eventually. In any case, if and when I do, I would like this to be set to output to the... Well, I've just spun the machine around. I would like to have this output to the right, and with this on auto input, this would accept these items and then work on producing the true PVC using WC. And all this needs is chromium tiny dust, so I think I should be able to put chromium tiny dust in here. And if I want to limit the amount of stuff I can produce, I can really easily use a stocking bus. Simply put in the amount of chromium I would like to use or keep in the system. And in my case, I think if there's more than, let's say, 20 chromium in here, you can stop. Moving on swiftly to styrene butadiene, that has a sort of similar fate with a chromium export, so I can just copy that bit. But I need to produce styrene butadiene to produce the rubber, and that is produced with butadiene and styrene. So, but I should have actually copied those ingredients over, and I'll do that right now. Butadiene go in, if I can click it right, and styrene go in. Perfect. Both of these will end up in here, and I would also like to set this up as a recipe so that, again, I don't want my fluids doing funny things. And for powering all these machines, I'm going to use the same old little subnet trick that I've been doing for a while now, where with a few induction cards and a strategically placed subnet, I can transmit power to all connected machines on the subnet. So just like that, some of these machines, especially the top one, would have turned on. No, it didn't. Why would it do that? That has a thing. That has a thing. Everything's online. Oh, the subnet doesn't have power. And somehow I once again spun on this thing around. How I managed that? Hold on. Okay, there we are. Cool. I'm hoping this is outputting to the correct spot and everything. To do that, I would have to remove that and check. And it seems like it is. Cool. You get your induction card back, because I don't want it. Now, that one should turn on because obviously I'm producing acetylene as a process in my distillation. And I'm now producing PVC, which has nowhere to go, so it'll get stuck in the interfaces. This guy has no styrene because styrene is actually produced with ethyl benzene and some steam and some iron dust. That means I get to put down a pattern provider and one more chemical reactor. And this one too gets, well, there go my induction cards once again. And this one will get the recipe to produce styrene. This one right here. Excellent. And because this has a crafting card and is constantly trying to round robin, I would imagine this one would have come online eventually. That's power. Everything should be inputting. I'll say output to input side and lock the production of styrene recipe right here. Cool. Now, why would this not be working is my next question. Okay, yep, and all of it works. Cool. If I just lock this recipe then, will it continue to work? No. How about now? I don't know. This is being a little bit weird with its locking behaviors, but it seems to be working fine now. Perfect. Styrene comes in, styrene butadiene rubber gets produced, and all of it will end up in the interface in the back, just as PVC has been doing. Now, I think I'm going to give both of these dedicated fluid cells and then have no overflow destruction so that eventually these turn off. And honestly, I think a 64K with equal distribution on both of these would be perfectly reasonable. So all I need is a little bit of PVC and I can drag that in here. And the moment I put this back into the ME system, this drive will fill up with a little chunk of both, I hope. There it is. And you know, with all of this episode's progress so far behind us, it's finally pattern encoding time, where I will be encoding the patterns for RAM chips, as well as the processing unit boards, both of which now have suitable homes in corresponding assemblers. All that's left to finally wrap up the quest that I started in the previous episode is to encode a pattern for the large motor. And fortunately for me, I don't have to scroll as far down as much anymore because I've run out of another column of space. So, crafting pattern large motor goes in, and I should hopefully now be able to ask for and request one large motor, please. Perfect. You know, I've spent the past few minutes wondering why this won't work, and only now have I realized that the RAM chips recipe is actually a chemical reactor recipe, and nobody told me that. You can't be letting me make mistakes like that, guys. Come on. In any case, processing units is now going, I believe. Yeah, it's just gonna take its own sweet time. I just gotta fly all the way down here, head hanging in shame, and make another chemical reactor. Good gravy. So, one last time. Large motor. One large motor, please. And of course, this turns on instantly, because this time I'm not being a doofus, for a change. And just like that, the large motor quest is now complete. There it is. 2 episodes worth of work in my hands. Perfect. And you know, with this huge milestone reached, I think I'm gonna have to call this episode right here. It's been a lot of work and a little bit of a grind, really, but like I said, I do like a grind sometimes. So, all that being said, this has been Kesa in All the Mods 10, and in the next one, you're gonna see me make the Tesla coil. Peace out, everybody.